he did what you were saying about the finger. He chopped off half. It was a fuck.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'll just say it was cold. I'll save it for the pool afterwards. Before.
There's real talk though. There's some statues out there that like you'll get like veins on the back of the hand. They'll capture that so perfectly. You'll see like
it's
you know what I also realized too though?
It's amazing.
What the fuck else were they doing? That's what they did. They just sat there and chiseled for because then you would do that and die.
That was fun.
What else could you do back then?
Yeah, they didn't have fucking DS.
Play.
You can make apple pies.
So what's the best museum you guys have been to? I went to
a couple.
I went to the Getty Museum in California.
I went to the
Spaghetti Museum.
You went to the
I went to the Spaghetti Factory last night.
Really?
No.
The Spaghetti Museum? What's in the Spaghetti Museum?
What do you think?
I don't know.
Spaghetti.
Oh, serious?
Severed heads. Squirting severed heads.
There's one that I went to by this artist called Ron Muick who does like grotesquely realistic huge things like there's one that it's just a giant baby. It's the size of this room basically, and it's just hyper realistic.
Oh yeah, that thing.
It looks like a real giant baby, and it's like all just like fresh out of the womb, I guess. And just, you're getting Zach Morty over there.
You crossed your legs.
I did anatomy in med school, so like there was this guy touring around that he had cadavers and he put them in all different positions and stuff.
Body World.
I went to that when he was touring. Yeah.
Can I tell a quick story related to that?
That was disgusting.
There were advertisements all over New York.
I saw that. Yeah.
No, wait. It's a Christopher I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what?
The Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. We went to Dunkin' Donuts and there was like these disgusting like real human like corpse faces on them, and the employee behind the counter pointed towards it and he was like, "This is without skin human."
I remember that.
It was the weirdest fucking thing ever. We were like,
it was just you were staring at a prototypical Dunkin' Donuts worker, and
that's a quote to be able to
trying to have a coffee, one turtle, and then he just points, and we looked at it, we're like, what does that mean? That is without skin human.
I wanted to frame that and say like Dunkin' Donuts guy.
Just take a picture of him and just like
a black and white photo. Dunkin' Donuts guy on the skinless human. Thanks guy.
That is without skin human.
I didn't know what that was before he pointed out Dunkin' Donuts employee.
Wasn't that in like every Dunkin' Donuts we went to?
It was everywhere. It was
all over.
That is so off-putting for a fucking food restaurant. Like, food and
why
coffee.
would they put that there?
It's like a guy like screaming to his mouth is open.
Like I was
muscle tissues.
I was gonna get like a fucking like chopped up meat fucking burger.
I was gonna get a raw piece of chicken with like straight. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Did you say you actually went to the exhibit though, or like the?
No.
I did.
Okay, go.
I've always wanted to do it.
Didn't you bring us to the Rudder Museum or whatever? Remember?
Yeah, the Mutter Museum.
What was it called again? Mutter. Yeah,
Mutter?
Where was it located?
In Philly.
It was downtown in Philly. Yeah, it was like all the. It's like Ripley's Believe It or Not with all the oddities and weird.
It's like people with fucking bullet holes in their brains.
Yeah. Very. How was it like a big museum? Or?
It's like a 10-minute thing.
Smallish, but it's still really cool. Like every single piece is like some weird historic, like almost like obscene. Like for one, do you remember the colon?
No.
That was like the size of a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Sorry.
It was a human colon that they had preserved
somehow. There was like a fucking giant skeleton.
It looked like there were kids stuffed in it or something. It was just like...
That is weird because I went like thrifting the other day in the Philly city. I was going through thrift stores. They're all normal. I was like, yeah, this is bullshit junk I don't want. And then I went into one of them and it was just normal. And then in the back room they had like jars with heads like Futurama in them and shit, and like fucking fetuses that are attached to each other.
Ooh.
What?
And like and like little pig heads and stuff. I was like,
there was a kid in the Mutter Museum who is like a corpse of a kid whose muscles turned to stone.
Oh, I heard about this disease. It's like when you get a bruise or something, right? Yeah. When you get a bruise, it turns to rock.
Did you hear about that? Did you hear about that kid? Did you hear about that kid who died in the 1920s? I think she was 5, and her dad was so devastated he wanted him to be preserved forever. So she's still preserved, but her eyes still open.
Yes, I've heard about that. Isn't it like South America?
I don't know, but at one point every day her eyes open and then close again.
Yeah, I've heard about it. It's creepy.
It's probably something like taking a stick and fucking
No, I think it's like something to do with like her muscles are still attached.
There's no way. Her muscles are
I've heard a lot of different stories about like corpses being like super preserved or something.
Would you guys ever get frozen cryogenically?
You would, Zach. Me and Zach talked about this.
This big problem. Cryonics, right? People actually get frozen. This is a real thing. But the way they do it is like, basically, you sign up for this thing when you die of like cancer. There's a couple of problems. The biggest problem is first, if you're in a different state, like there's only a couple facilities in the U.S. So if I died here in Pennsylvania, they'd have to come out. I'd be dead for like a day or two before they can actually do it. Yeah. What they do is like, if you live in the area, say you live right next to the place. I watched a documentary. This lady died. They pulled her over immediately, iced her body down. started pumping her chest again to keep her blood flowing. Started giving her chemicals so she could.
So she doesn't get rigor mortis.
So she doesn't actually start rotting. So her brain doesn't die basically. But it's dead, but it's not dying.
Yeah.
And then they do that. Put her in ice, get her body really low, take her blood out, then put some kind of basically
formaldehyde
antifreeze into her bloodstream.
Yeah, so that's going to help. That's it.
No, because the biggest issue is if you get frozen like a lake or whatever.
Yeah.
The biggest issue, you can sweat for a little bit, not frozen, but like if you fall in cold water. But the biggest issue is if you get frozen, ice crystals form in between your cells and they expand.
Oh.
So even if you froze and woke up, you'd be fucking like mush, you'd be liquid.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But I'm saying the biggest issue is they die and they freeze you, and the freezing process keeps you completely alive. Like it's not, it keeps you preserved completely. You're intact. But the issue is when they wake up, you're fucking dead.
you still have a brain tumor.
You're still even if they can cure that in the future, you're still dead. The only way to get frozen is if they can do it when I'm alive. If I was like slow my process down.
And it's still your tissue would be fucked.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be no. That tissue's not an issue. The issue
If
is
it's
that
frozen,
your brain is dead.
No, your
You
tissue
have to-
will be fucked up. It will be
They can
done.
that's not even the big issue. The way they do it,
That's a huge issue.
here's an example. Some kind of like frogs. They get frozen for like a year at a time, but they have like a basic, like a natural antifreeze in their body. They get frozen in ice for like a year, but their insides are still going.
It's like a
so if you
seasonal.
can find a way to do that, like keep your the insides going, but slow down on it, I think that's the way to do it.
Hibernating.
Exactly, but yeah, so basically sleeping rather than fucking dead and then put in ice.
God.
Once I saw on the internet that you can get a fly and put it in the freezer for like a few days and then take it
Yeah.
back out and just if you touch it,
Or even
it
like an
starts like
hour.
unfreezing.
When I was a kid, I put a cicada into the freezer for like 4 hours and took it out, and it was like, oh god, I killed it. It was like, it sort of flying around,
Wait,
freaked me out.
Did you ever hear about those people who put flies on strings and put them in freezers to freeze them?
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
the
was-
strings
yeah.
though?
What's the story?
Yeah, no, yeah, but they do that. Yeah, that's so. They,
Yeah, because they'll catch a fly, put it in the freezer, freeze it, then put a little string on it, and then when he unthaws, you like keep a pet fly on a leash.
That's so cruel.
It's funny. It's like, fuck
Like
flies.
one day though.
I
When
hate
I
flies.
was little, I found a fly. I was playing outside, and there was a little fly that only had one wing, so it was just crawling around.
Oh.
And I kept it.
Aw.
I put it in a little
Flies.
jar with like dirt and grass, and it was alive for like a few days, and it died. I was
Good.
so sad. I cried.
Fucking, why did you cry over a
Yeah,
fly?
his
Did you
name
guys
was
do that a
Buzzy
lot?
the Buzzer.
Did you guys do that?
Buzzy.
Did you like capture animals and put them like in jars and
Yeah,
stuff
I
in
used to
boxes?
collect like worms
I used to do
and
all the
stuff.
time.
Oh, you were
all the
that kid.
time.
That was
yeah.
I was
weird
too,
kid.
dude. I used to do
Yeah.
like frog. I put the frog.
No,
I fell in love
probably all
with that.
did.
I had a
Took the
gecko.
frog.
Did I tell
Did you ever find it though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Did I
what
tell the slug operator story?
I think so.
Operator?
What the
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he'd find a slug and then his eyes would lock onto the slug and he'd go, "Danger, danger, slug operator," and he'd walk over to the slug and he'd like slit it open.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he just slit it down the middle and then like all these little baby slugs came out of it once.
He sounds weird.
It was you, wasn't
Do
it?
you guys kill flies when you see them or no?
Me and Chris had a fly problem in Wexford when we lived in Ireland, and
That was disgusting.
it was bad. It was bad.
It was disgusting.
It was
Tell,
bad.
tell the story when you came home. After
Oh yeah,
the
so
days.
me and Chris went to my house in Galway. That's like the other side of the country, and Chris went home a day before I did, and then when I came home on the bus, I walked into the house. And Chris was on his computer, just like surrounded by, like absolutely like
Fucking
and he was
wall
like,
of flies.
he was like,
Chris's
hey,
eyes.
he was like, hey, I was like, ah!
Was that because of the watermelon or no?
No, the
Hey,
watermelon.
tell that story, Chris.
Did we never? Wait, but why was there so many flies though?
Because you're stinky.
Because
No, that's not why.
Because our ex-roommate left a shit ton of.
That was it. Yeah.
He left
Okay.
a shit ton of bags in a closet.
Yeah, I went to a trash balls guy, and when I got back, he left. So he left fucking 50 trash
Yeah, he
bags.
left, and like, yeah, they were just in a closet that like, tucked away.
It wasn't my
Disgusting.
fault. But what was my fault was the watermelon. So I had a little tiny fridge in my apartment. I put a
Yeah.
watermelon in it. I ate a slice. And then I forgot about it. And then 2 weeks later, I opened the fridge, and there was a fucking forest growing inside my fridge, and flies
God.
flew out.
He literally threw his fridge away.
I mean,
You guys have some of the most disgusting, like,
Look,
with the
yeah, I
rotted
didn't think
fruit,
that would happen.
flies, maggots.
This is
holy
what
shit.
happened. This is what happened. We fucking got the fridge. We're like, this is a lost cause. So we drove it to the dump. The dump wouldn't take it. So we literally dumped it in a quarry somewhere, and we sealed it.
God, sealed it.
Some little boy found that ate the watermelon.
He opened it. He turned it to
Oh
fly
my
boy.
God.
Some say he still flies around out to this day.
So, something I want to talk about a little bit earlier. We talked about
Can she finish her crocodile
yeah.
tangent?
Oh, that was it. It was just I remember chocolate crocodiles. That's all.
Remember candy cigarettes?
10 out of 10, Sabrina.
Did you guys ever have candy cigarettes where they were called candy cigarettes?
Yeah.
I used to be like, Yeah, the big deal.
Yeah.
Just to blow the dust. Cause
Man, I can one up you there because when I was younger, I was like a little bit older than the kids in my estate, and I tried to be cool. And I remember seeing like cigarette butts on the ground. And I was like, "Check these out, guys! Pick it up!" And tried to light it, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was like lighting it before it was in my mouth. I was like,
I did that too. Like, my friend Jason and I, we used to go to my dad because my dad smoked cigarettes. We used to go to my dad's fireplace and like pull disgusting cigarette butts out of the fireplace and smoke them for like 40 seconds.
No, gross.
My friend Jason, I don't know if I ever told the story. Did I ever tell the story? No. My first cigarette I ever had, I was like 14 years old. My friend Jason came over and was like, "Dude, let's go smoke a cigarette." I was like, "Alright." We went to the woods and he had there was just one cigarette. And I don't know where it got it from. And he pulled it, we were like coughing. I don't know why I did it. We were coughing, like wheezing and shit. And then we came back to my house and immediately my mom was like, "Why do you smoke cigarettes?" It was like a fucking TV show. And I was like, "Oh, I got a blue cigarette smoke on the way back." And she fucking believe me.
Did your heart like sink?
Yeah, it was like, oh yeah.
How old were you?
I didn't say like I didn't smoke a cigarette. I panicked. I was like, I didn't smoke a cigarette.
How old were you?
I was like 14 probably.
Yeah, same for me when I got caught.
I was an idiot. What's your cigarette story?
For me, it was even stupider. We just found a pack of cigarettes sitting on a couch in a Future Shop, and we're like, ha 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 ha.
Do I have to smoke these?
And we went. It was my friend Melissa and I. And like, I mean, anyway, I went back to my house. She took half the pack. I took the other half, and I was like, I'm gonna try smoking. There wasn't even anybody around, so I don't know who I was trying to impress. I was just like, I'm gonna try smoking. So idiot me, like here, my room is in the basement, and then there's a little vent that just goes like right
to the
in the middle.
House.
Basically, yeah. So the one place that my dad sits all day long, every day, is just happens to be right above this vent that's also attached to my room, and it took him like 0.5 seconds after I lit this cigarette, and you know I have this teeny tiny little football-sized basement window that I cracked open, and
like Caesar the monkey.
Yeah, that she was gonna say I had a sweet kind of football head. I was like, what?
I had a little football head like Arnold. But no, so so I light the cigarette and I'm trying to smoke it out the window all sneaky because I'm thinking all the smoke is going out the window, but it's going up the vent, which is directly above my head. And as soon as I light that cigarette, my dad, I just hear thump 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 thump, and like my door's locked and everything, right? So I can hear him trying to open it. And, like I put out the cigarette, throw it out the window, and all the rest of them too. And he's like, open the door, and like I open it after a couple seconds of scrabbling and throwing away the cigarettes and like.
Did he know?
He knew
straight away.
Yeah.
Did you get grounded?
No, there was like this big intervention conversation.
Oh,
that,
Jesus!
My mom sat me down. My dad was talking to me, and they're like, "Listen,
awkward."
Were you crying?
No. They're like, you know what? We respect your decision. If you just be honest with us. If this is something you want to do. It was like I was coming out to them or something, and they were
like,
just talking to me.
I just found this package and I thought it was cool.
Yeah. And they're like, "Where did you get this from? Who gave this to you?" And I lied about it because I didn't want the.
When I was younger, my friend Jordan and I, we went down to Pike Place Market in Seattle. There's a magic shop there, and we were looking at these packets of like love potions or whatever. And at some point, I think I accidentally grabbed one and put it in my purse or something. Accidentally, I promise you.
You wanted to woo all those boys with that love potion, throw it at them.
I wanted all the men when I was 12.
Slap me! Scott, you bitch! And they ran away. That was the end of it.
So we left the magic shop. On the bus ride home, I noticed it's in my purse. I'm like, oh fuck. And I was like, should we go back and return it? It was only like 50 cents. I mean, it was like a little powder mixture.
It was seriously probably Kool-Aid or something.
Oh my god.
Honestly,
I have a story about this.
And so we went back to my house, and as soon as I got into the door, my dad was standing there, and he was like, I know what you did. And I was like, what the fuck? Well, I didn't say that. I was so scared. My heart sank. I was so scared. But he was talking about something else. I didn't clean the bathroom before I left to the Pike Place Market. Yeah. But I swear, I thought he was talking about that love potion. What
happened with the love potion? Did it work? Oh, go on.
My friend Jordan and I, we split it. In a cup, we was like, mix it with hot water.
What if you just fell in love with each other?
They did. They're married. Congratulations.
We are.
It's all based on lies.
No, it just tasted like, I don't know, like Kool-Aid.
Wait, you drank it?
Yeah, we drank it. We're like
Sprite. Oh, yeah, because I have a story about a spray.
We thought it was all in our heads, like, we felt like, it's all psychological. Like, we're like, oh, do you feel nice and tingly? It's like, oh, yeah,
That's
I
like
do
when you're a
too.
kid, so when you have like non-alcoholic alcohol, you're like, I'm so drunk. It's like that weird placebo thing. And it's just like, there's no alcohol, retard. You're like, yeah, I was just fooling. I was goofing anyways.
I was in this pub called Lonergan's in Galway when I was a kid, and I was with my dad, and I went into the bathroom, and they had like, those machines where you get condoms and shit?
Yeah.
They had one where it was like not a love potion, but it was like pheromones or some shit. It was like something weird. It was like to make girls like you. And I was
like a cologne?
Yeah, and I was like this little fat kid, and I had a crush on a girl in school, so I was like, man.
no.
You're like, yeah, I could use that.
I was like, this is gonna work.
Lyle,
I was like, I'm getting laid, son. My little 13.
So you just straight, you had a thing next to a thing of condoms, and you were like, yeah.
But I didn't have money at the time,
I'm going for the love.
So I didn't have money at the time. So the next day, even though it wasn't that far from my house, I packed my bag. I was like, Dad, I'm going to my friend's house, and I was like, this was this huge big scheme. I was like, haha, and I went all the way to Lonergan's, and I put in my €2 coin or whatever, got it, and went to school the next day because I was on a Sunday, and I was on school. I sprayed it. And I was like, kind of weird, but whatever. So I put on Axe to
See, you canceled it out anyways.
Yeah, I know, I was stupid. But the Axe ad had all women coming after you anyway, so I was like, dude, I am actually literally going to be a pussy.
Oh, you thought you just added to it. You thought it was an addition.
I thought I was.
I thought you were going to be swimming in pussy.
I thought if there was an airplane going by, women would just fall out of it and just attach to me.
Their titties right into your face.
Yeah, it's everywhere I go. But yeah, then I sat beside this girl in maths class, the same girl, and I was like, put my neck up kind of near her. I was like, oh yeah, and she's like, you smell weird. Well, there goes that. Dreams are fucking crushed.
Did you really take that ad seriously?
Yeah.
Literally?
No, I
You're a
didn't.
little too old for that.
Yeah, 13 you would think, yeah.
The last time I took an ad literally was when I was 6.
No, I didn't actually take the Lynx ad, or the Axe ad. It's called Lynx in Ireland. Seriously. But
So you were very disappointed.
I was very disappointed. Yeah. She
so
ended up being a
sorry.
huge colossal
I like
bitch
how
anyway.
your first thought when you saw it was that wow, the cure to making anyone fuck you, it's only $2.
Yeah, I was like, why do people know this? Needless to say, it didn't work.
How old were you?
13.
Yeah. It's a bad time to fall in love or try to look for love.
No,
It's like the
I was
awkward
trying to
stage in life.
get laid, dude.
Trying to get some pussy and
Trying to
you're
get some
13.
little gash.
Things are horrible until you die.
Mm-hmm.
Things never get
No,
good.
things are literally horrible until you're in your 20s, and then they're
We're all gonna die
a little less
alone.
Yeah, especially you.
You guys are so
I would
positive.
agree with that.
What?
I think there's a fucking, what do you call those, scales?
Scales.
Yeah, those things do
Scales?
that.
Graph?
Whatever. Anyway, when you're in school, life is bad, but also shit because you're in school, which is bad, but life is good because you're getting everything handed to you by your parents. But then you get out, but then you have to fend for yourself, and it's still just as shitty.
No, it's not as shitty. It's not as shitty.
Sometimes it
Independence
is.
for me is way more worth it than having to live with parents.
That's true.
Being an adult's way better, dude.
Yeah.
I can eat ice cream for breakfast.
However,
You guys never just think back and be like, do you remember the lack of responsibility?
No, dude. What do you mean?
Hey.
Absolutely not. I wake up whenever I want to. I get to fucking. We draw as a living.
No,
Yeah,
but
thanks.
the only reason for that was because you were in school, which was shitty.
When I worked in a supermarket, I legitimately wanted to kill myself. So it's all about perspective.
Yeah, when I went to fast food too, I was like, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I worked at a bakery and coffee shop in downtown Seattle for about 2 years. I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because my shift was from 5 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Ugh. So my dad had to it was before I had my license, so he'd have to drive me down there. Oh. I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Just waking up so early. I had to go to bed at 8 o'clock at night.
I was thinking of
I have no
creative
life.
ways to kill myself.
Why do you have to be creative? You're gonna be dead at the end of it.
Because I was bored.
It's fucking easy to kill yourself now. You just didn't try hard enough.
Creative ways.
No, you did apply yourself now. That's why you wanted to kill yourself, because you were slacking on trying to kill yourself. All
I
right.
was thinking, the belts that you put groceries on. Mm-hmm. I was like, if I tie something to that, tie it around my neck, and just turn it on, and just slowly decapitate myself. Yeah, it was stuff like
I don't think
that.
the motor would be strong enough.
You probably see that's so much time because you sort of regretting it as it slowly
Yeah, but then I
gets sucked
timed
through.
it. Yeah.
When I was younger, I left a pan on the oven, and then there was nothing in it. I just left it. And it was on the oven was on high or the burner.
Yeah.
And I remember
stove.
the stove top. And then I remember I came out of the bedroom, And I was home alone at the time. The whole house was just smoky, like black smoke, and it smelled awful.
Oh God.
I grabbed it and I threw it in the sink.
I'll turn the sink on, watch it fucking explode in smoke. Yeah.
I was so close to starting like a huge fire, and I was only like 9 years old.
Did you ever leave the sink on and let it flood somehow?
No.
When I was a kid, I had these those little inflatable things that we put the pills in. They inflate this stuff like a giraffe.
Oh yeah.
I had an Alphabet one, and I was like 6. I put it in the sink and left it on for like 4 hours. I got yelled at.
I have a story about flushing corn down the toilet.
Oh wait. Is this like
You're gonna have to tell that one.
So
is it already through your digestive system?
Corn on the cob.
Wow.
Whoa, you got a full one came out in the turd?
No, I was eating dinner. I was about 5 years old. And I was really self-conscious about finishing my food. I don't know why.
No way, you'd be like, you didn't want to finish it all? You felt...
I felt bad. Like, I always felt like I had to finish my food. My parents never...
felt obligated to finish it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we had corn on the cob for dinner one night, and I couldn't finish it. And I was really nervous. I'm like 4 or 5 years old. So I grabbed the cob, and I sneak away into the bathroom. And I tried flushing it down the toilet.
Where did you put the corn in the cob to sneak it away? Did you put it in your shirt or something?
Yeah, like down my shirt. I hid it behind my back, walked away from the dinner table, and be like, oh, excuse me. So I went to the bathroom, tried flushing it down the toilet. Of course I get stuck.
Your parents totally noticed you had a big fucking corn of the cob.
Mega turds.
They also noticed your fucking... They didn't think you ate the whole piece either. They noticed it was gone, but in your mind you were like, yeah, I'm fucking sneaky. They saw it in your shirt.
When I was 2, my sister...
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh.
So my dad, he had to fucking take the toilet out of the bathroom.
Oh, shit.
And he had to fix it. He had to unclog it in front of the lawn, in front of the house. And all our neighbors watched. And my dad was so mad at me. He still calls me corn flesher to this day. That's his nickname for me.
Wait, he's mad at you?
Yeah. When we go out just in grocery shopping together, and he's like, "Can you grab that corn flesher?" And I will never live it down.
Oh, that sounds really...
I'm so embarrassed.
That sounds like a really mean name, just from the way it sounds.
Just because also...
fucking corn flesher.
By the way, it's because of something. They have really girthy shits or something.
Yeah.
Or really corny shits.
When I was 2, my sister was born. And she was like sitting in the whatever babies do. I don't know. My mom was like cleaning. For some reason I remember she was like cleaning a bathroom, and I was like, "Hey mom, I fed the baby." And my mom was like, "Oh, that's nice, dear." And then she's like, "What?" And then she went in, and apparently I shoved like tons of Rice Krispies down her throat. And like the baby, my sister was like sitting on the like floor with Rice Krispies on her cheeks, and she was like, "Oh."
So
I was like,
Can I tell a funny story now when I was visiting him in Galway?
I got one after you. Go ahead.
It was the funniest thing ever for the wrong reasons. But Niall's sister is like really, really nice and really polite and really quiet.
Yeah.
And when she was walking through the hall going, "Mom, Mom," and then Niall ran up to her and started getting up in her face going, "Nobody cares! Nobody cares!"
Yeah, no, I just do that sometimes.
You're such a dick. She's really nice.
Yeah,
How old is she?
She's like old enough to like not.
I used to like get 2 pillows from the couch and just sing Jingle Bells and bash it on her head. She's go like Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells. She's like,
She's so quiet. She's just shell shocked.
She's like the girl from Game of Thrones, the one who's like
Sansa.
Yeah, Sansa. She's really polite.
Oh my god.
Nobody cares. She's fucking mean now.
I know, I'm sorry.
What is your story?
This is actually like a really, really dark story, but when I was really little, maybe 2, 3, not old enough to do water rescue, obviously. My younger sister Mel is 2 years younger than me, and I guess my mom was bathing us in the tub one day, and she just like left Mel in her little like tub baby seat thing, and I was in there too. And my mom walks away and leaves us in the bathroom alone.
Oh no!
For a very, very short time, right? And so
to grab something, I'm sure. Just
yeah. And so I guess what happened with Melanie, she her leg slipped under the little like baby chair thing where it holds the 2 legs, so they sit up kind of thing. So one leg got into where the other leg's supposed to be, and she went right under, and it basically the way that it went is like the leg thing went over her stomach or whatever, so she was like underwater. And I'm like a baby too, right? So I don't know what's going on. She started turning blue and shit.
Baby in water,
it was just long enough that it was super serious. Like my mom runs back in and after I start saying like, "Mom, like something's wrong with Mountie."
She's supposed to be blue and screaming.
No, yeah, and so Mom comes back in, and like they had to do like CPR and all
God.
that stuff, and yeah, like.
Oh, so your sister almost died.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad she didn't. Like,
Oh lordy.
so that happened.
I have one final story before we get to these Patreon questions.
Oh, yeah.
It's related to the water. It's like nobody drowned, but when my brother was like 2, we went to the pool. It was like his first pool trip. And he saw a big fat lady and he pointed and said, "Fat! Fat! Fat!" And he got in trouble. He got yelled at. That's a true story.
That's a great story, Zach.
It's a real story.
That's a 10 out of 10.
Oh my
You're the ladies, Nikki. That was
Oh.
Fuck off!
Now to the Patreon questions. Chris, you want to read the first one?
From Mobile Spider,
Yes, that is right.
do you guys have any warm-up tips before you draw?
Go, Chris.
I draw a square.
Next. Next one.
Wait, is that it?
Is it just one person answering each?
No one
Okay, are
else
we
can
all
answer
going
it?
around? Like, how are we?
Oh, I thought we were all gonna answer
We're all
that.
gonna answer that for real. I'm not gonna goof like Chris over here.
Look, okay, my warm-up is
Square.
I will draw. I don't fucking know.
No, he doesn't.
I'll draw for 30 minutes, and that's my warm-up. I don't know what I'm gonna draw.
I do warm-up sketches. I just try
I
to.
do a lot of gestures.
Oh, I know what's
a lot
fucking
of
talking to you.
gestures.
It's fucking talking to you. Nice.
Serena, these fucking two assholes, they don't even know what they're talking about. They got their dicks in their hands,
You're
right?
the one with the tin in your chest.
Whoa.
Nice titties.
Are you jealous of that?
Oh!
That was kind of.
Oh!
Sorry now.
When I do streams,
Hey, shut up! I haven't answered yet.
no one cares, Zach.
I haven't answered
Okay,
yet. Shut your fucking mouth. Like what he said, I do sketches. I would do seriously do sketches for like 30 minutes to a whole hour if you want to. But a couple things you can do. Try to do something different every day, or if you want to, try to pick something like hands or like a head or something, or fucking ears. Break it down. A lot of people, I said it before, but a lot of people get fucking overwhelmed because they think you have to get good at anatomy and colors. And I said, no, pick an ear. If you want to get good at an ear, just spend like 2 days on an ear or whatever. Just pick something every day to get better at.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and also what's fun to do is take an old drawing like a year ago or 2 years ago and redraw that.
Yeah, Zach does that a lot, and it
Yeah.
always comes out
That
nicely.
gives you a nice
Sometimes
boost of
worse.
confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. You see how much your style changes, see how you draw things differently. You know,
Zach was doing one recently with an Indian guy, but like Zach made like the head shape much more appealing. Like it was kind of. It was a really good drawing like 2 years ago, but he made the head shape so much more like concise and nicer to look at.
Thank you. I think it's, it just comes down to like breaking stuff down differently.
Yeah.
So that drawing, you can also do characters. I do characters sometimes, or even take a cartoon character, fucking Dexter's Lab, whatever show you grew up with, and just draw that in your own style. Yeah, you drew a fucking Dexter's Lab picture.
Oh yeah, we all did that.
Yeah. So that's my advice.
When I do streams, I ask the people, I'm like, yeah, what will I draw? Then I use that as a warm up, and then I do commissions on my streams. So like just like I ask people what I draw, and then I'll do. That's my warm up, and then that's all I do. What about you, Sabrina?
Depending on what I draw, because I do a lot of figures and like things related to drawing people. Usually, like in the figure drawing classes I've taken, they start off with really, really quick stuff, and then it gradually increases into a longer sort of thing. So you can kind of, you start off really loose. Like you're probably not gonna like the first ones anyway, so you're not committed to that. You're just getting warmed up.
Just fuck it out of the way.
Yeah. You do stuff that is short as 15 seconds, 30 seconds. And you could do faces. You could do whole poses, like gesture. Like quick stick bend kind of thing. Just whip it out.
Oh, another website that's so handy is Pixel Lovely. You know.
I was gonna say Pixel Lovely.
But the 30
Castle.
The 30 seconds is way too little for
Castle
me.
one's down there. I used to use it. I think it is. I'm not sure.
that
No,
one.
Pixel Lovely is great. They have like so many pictures. Except that ginger girl always annoys me.
Same picture.
You know that ginger girl?
I think I've seen that. Yeah, the
I
one.
have
The tits.
Adam Phillips sent me a website that has different anatomical references, and it's a fucking
the 3D
really
one?
good site. It has like what's what?
The 3D one.
I'll show it. I'll post it on the description.
And art blogs on Tumblr are really helpful too.
Yeah.
Yeah, even on DeviantArt, there's a ton of like tutorials.
I'll link all the ones that I have saved bookmarked.
Yeah,
they're
I'll,
really good. The ones
I'll
I use
send you
right
those,
now.
Zach, because I've got a couple bookmarked too that I like. There's some that are good for like animals, faces, whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
Just pick something that you're not quite comfortable with,
Yeah,
and
go out of your comfort zone as much as you can.
just set like an hour or 2 hours aside or something like that, and then
Because a
by
lot of
the end
people,
of it.
I can draw really good pigs. It's like, well, draw something besides it,
Yeah,
whatever.
keep doing
it
new
is.
stuff.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
do the same thing. You'll get bored and stagnant. And
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Yeah, basically, Sabrina summed it up the best, just gestures and stuff. Also, like another fun technique or another activity, whatever, is like you draw a shape. And then you try to make something out of that shape. Yeah, that's always fun.
What's fun about that one is if you can get somebody else to draw the shape for you. So get somebody else to just draw a weird fucking shape and then try to draw a face.
Yeah, like at the office the other day, we were drawing shapes, like make that into a sexy lady. And of course, they're like horrible looking. But it's fun.
On this note, I'm curious. This wasn't asked by anybody. But I'm curious. What is your guys' favorite thing to draw? What do you prefer to draw when you can? I know this for both of you.
Go ahead. No, you go first. I'm curious.
You say it.
Safe.
Let's go back this way. Hey, let's go back this way.
Okay, my favorite thing to draw?
Yeah.
I like ladies. I like drawing curvy ladies. It's fun to draw cute things. Kind of seductive, devious looking. Monster Girls is a lot of fun. Yeah, ladies basically. I want to get better at drawing fucking guys.